Folks, welcome to yet another 100 before 40 race update, race review. Today, folks, we're going to talk about the Jacaranda City challenge that I did on the 12th of November 2022. Those of you who follow these reviews, you know that this was a week after the famous back-to-back, the famous Musana Kumusana challenge that I did with my good friend Brigitte. So folks, this one almost didn't happen for two reasons. One, I was just too tired during that week, and then on the eve of the race, there was rain predicted. In fact, it was raining during the night, and there was rain predicted at the race. So I was in two minds, being tired and whether I go and play in the rain and risk getting sick. I think there were two more marathons that I had to do after that. So I was like, do I end my year now, go and play in the rain, get sick, and then not run the other two, or do I just take the chances and go and run and see how it goes? Because I'm doing this review, folks, you know that I took the chances and went to run it to see how it would go. And I must say it didn't go very well. But first things first, let's talk about getting to the race. Because this was a local race in the sense that I didn't have to travel the day before. Pretoria is not so far from where I stay, so I just went to the race on the race morning. It was an early morning though, 3:30 up to be able to leave the house probably just before 4 and get there in time for the early start. Finding parking at the race was not difficult at all. I don't know whether this is a post-COVID thing or it's just I was doing it wrong, because previously I would battle with finding parking, but just like I did at the Soweto Marathon, I found parking very close to the race start. The number collection, folks, was quite easy, maybe because I arrived late. I think most of the people had collected their numbers. It was just a very short queue. I picked up my number, fastened it to my shirt, and I think by the time I was done, we were almost like 2 or 3 minutes before the race started. As soon as the gun went off, I quickly looked for my other partner in crime, the Dawn, the pink tutu runner, because I knew he was going to be at the race. So it was not very difficult to find him because the field was not too big. It was a reasonably big field, but it was not too big.
All right, folks, it's the usual gang. We are back at it today. It's
Jacaranda or Jacaranda, they call it.
It's going well.
Well done. Where
Thank
you
you.
at now?
Today is number 81 of 100 before 40.
Amazing. I hope it goes really well. Have fun.
Thank you. Enjoy.
You
Okay,
Really has no choice.
John, let's talk. What marathon number is this?
I think it's 130, 136.
Yes, 136.
136, yeah.
Damn, you're flying, man.
No,
Anyway.
once you start, you can't stop. Once you start, you can't stop. It's one foot in front of the other.
Once the engine hits up.
One foot in front of the other. It's really amazing to run a marathon. Yeah, you start off very fresh, smiley, you can see, very colorful. But somewhere in between the way, things take a turn for the worst. And it only gets better when you see the last kilometer. That's all I
Marathons are
can
like
say.
that. You know, they humble you no matter how many you've done. They will humble you. Anyway, folks, let us quit playing. Don is on a mission today. Expect him at 3:38. You'll be crossing the line. As for me,
Such a
I'll
dreamer.
see you when I see you guys.
Such a dreamer. I don't see that happening anytime soon. We're just running for fun today. Weather is fine. We're hoping to hit a little bit of turbulence. There's some good rain coming over. And we're going to get soaked. Let's play with other kids. Enjoy. Be safe. Remember to follow your man, Mr. 100 before 40.
As soon as Don left me, or he bulleted with his 5:30 project, I quickly hopped onto the 4:50 bus because I had hopped onto this bus at Soweto Marathon this time around I was determined to finish with the bus. I was determined to hang on to dear life and go all the way to the finish on the bus. I continued on the bus, and I think at 18, because this bus was a combined bus, it was the half marathon 220 bus and then the marathon 450 bus. So around 18, the bus drivers, they had some deal there. I don't know what happened, but all I just said was that those who are doing half marathon, follow this man. So I wanted to get some time in the bank, because at my Soweto marathon, if you remember, the bus left me behind. So I carried on with the 220 bus and I stuck with them until the half marathon point. And I must say, folks, that was the best decision ever, because as I got to the half marathon point, I was now hot because I was wearing layers which I had put on in anticipation of rain. So when I got to the half marathon point, I decided maybe it's time to lose some layers. So I then took a short detour and went for a wardrobe change. That wardrobe change was not an easy one, because my back temporary license thing was falling off. It was damp, it was wet in fact. So fastening it back was not an easy thing. Luckily I had kept the plastic that my race number had come in, so I had to put it back into the plastic and then stick it on my back with the plastic on. That way I managed to keep it, because I was now worried that if I don't put the plastic, it's probably going to fall off, and then some overly eager, or okay, well, let me be fair, some referee would then disqualify me because I was not carrying that temporary license number. As I was busy with the wardrobe change, the 450 bus came and passed me, so I had to play catch up. So I started again from the back. I had to attack from the back and caught up with it. I think I must have caught up with it just after there was a loop that we had to do. I can't remember what distance it was, and caught up with it. But this time around, I think I was feeling a bit better now, so I decided, no, if I stick to this bus, it's probably going to leave me behind like it did at Soweto Marathon. So I just ran with them for probably 2 minutes or so, and then I bulleted.
One.
81.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If Julian was not here, this was not going to count. Would have counted it as a training run.
Fantastic run. Fantastic water stations.
Yeah.
Sure. All those people who stayed in bed, you don't know what you missed.
You missed out.
Yeah. Have you seen Don?
Yes, I was with John earlier.
Okay.
He said today is going fast.
Okay. I haven't seen him though.
No, he said he was going fast. Folks, if you want to know who's the most wanted person in the country, it's me. Sone Metro, SAPS, and correctional services are chasing me. Can you believe? How's it? Folks, I was now trying to run the negative splits thing, and I think that's where my problems started, and those problems followed me for a while, where in fact they followed me way into the year. And at about 30 kilometers, as I was chasing the negative splits, I started feeling some pain on my knee and the outer knee. So what would happen is, if I walked, I would feel the pain, and as I start running, the pain would disappear, and the more I ran, the pain would sort of disappear. So then I figured out this is ITB, runner's stop. Those who run know what I'm talking about. The scientific name is what? Iliotibial band syndrome, ITBS. So I knew that this was ITB because the faster I ran, the more painful it became. Not the longer, the faster. So the longer I ran, the pain would recede. But the faster I ran, the pain would come back. So I had to run
gradually, slowly, and I knew that I was in trouble. So from about 32 to the finish, I ran most of the parts, not because I wanted to, but the pain was better as I ran.
Folks, remember, the cops that were chasing me, they could not catch me. I gave them a catch me if you can, and they could not. They're just arriving some good 8 minutes after I arrived. So there you go, folks. I'm still most wanted. They could not catch me.
Okay, folks, there was nothing more or nothing much to talk about because of this ITV story that was going on. I did not play around as I usually do. I actually did not shoot many videos or take pictures. My focus was just getting to the finish. In the end, folks, it was a respectable finishing time. I did a sub 4:30. It was 4:29 and 50 something seconds, just a few seconds under 4:30. So apart from being relieved that it was over, I was also happy that the time was a respectable time because I had thought maybe the wheels would come off and I was going to run a 5 hours plus here because of this pain that I was feeling in my knee. Now to the actual race review, folks. Let's talk what the logistics. First things first, as I said in the beginning, the parking was a breeze. It was quite easy. I was not stuck in traffic as is the case with some of these city marathons. I parked right next to the start, not next to the start, next to the course. That's why at 21 kilometers, I was able to take a break and go and change my kit and remove all the layers that I'd put on. So that was a plus for me. And when I finished the race, I also noticed that there was even a closer parking within an enclosure. I think this is like the official parking. But either way, I was happy with the parking. Race number collection was also a breeze. Maybe it's because I arrived late, but I did not have to stand around for a long time. And so that was also a positive, because what you don't want, especially when it was promising to rain, is stick around in a queue for a long time and that light drizzle might just feel like it's rain, it's like pouring cats and dogs. So the number collection on the morning was also a big plus for me. There was a lot of water and cool drinks on the route. That was also a positive for me. Both the laps, I did not experience any water or cool drink issues. So I don't know if the people that came behind me or after me had problems, but I can guarantee you folks, if there was such a problem, we would have read about it on Facebook, Twitter or wherever, because runners just know how to complain. Runners just know how to pick on these negative things. I'm not saying they shouldn't pick on them, but all I'm saying is we would have known if there was a problem. Then at the finish, I had sort of a bit of confusion because when I crossed the line, I got a medal with a green, I think it was a green ribbon. And for a moment I looked at the other one, like, how about he's getting a blue one, he's getting a... Then I realized that, oh no, it didn't matter. That ribbon color was of no significance. If you ran the 42K, you were getting a medal. If you ran the 21, you were getting a medal. If you ran the other distances, you were getting a medal. I just mentioned it, folks, not because that matters to me. What matters to me is finishing the marathon. I just mentioned just in case you have the Facebook police that think, hey, we know what color medal or ribbon the other guys that got. If yours was different, chances are that you ran a shorter distance or something like that. You know what I'm talking about, folks. We always have those talks on Facebook. Overall, folks, I think I can give the race a big thumbs up. This was not my first time doing this race. I've done it before, and so returning to it after, I think, 3 years. The last time I did it was, in fact, it was 4 years. The last time I did it must have been 2018. Returning to it again, I was quite happy. I left a happy customer, and I can tell you, folks, next year I'll be back. I encourage you, if you have not done it, or if you've done it before and you're thinking whether it's worth going back and all that, I've given the race a big thumbs up. You should go and try it, and you enjoy it. The course is not one of the most difficult, not one of the easiest either, but I think it's more on the easy course, because I did not have problems with any hills or mountains, as has become the norm with some of these races. Apart from my ITB stories, I think the course was a fair one. It's a fairly easy or fairly quick course. So there you have it, folks. That was marathon number 81 in the bag. It's behind us now. If you enjoyed this video, folks, please give me a first thumbs up. If you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you get notifications when we post something new on these race reviews.